Hello, my name's David. I'm Paulie's granddad. I'm an author and I'm an illustrator. I write children's books and I draw the pictures as well. Today I'm going to read you one of my books, The Sunset Chasers. So I hope you like it. So, The Sunset Chasers by David Hartley. Today I stood and faced the west with my father by my side. I asked him where the sun went once it left our clear blue sky. He said he couldn't tell me, for he'd yet to see the place where that golden globe of sunlight rests its smiling face. But once we've slept and eaten, we'll set out for the west, and sit atop the highest hill and watch where the sun shall rest. So very early in the morning we set out, my dad and me, to climb the very highest hill for the sunset just to see. We climbed for almost all the day. The walk was long and hot. But before the sun slid into bed, we stood triumphant at the top. We both stood there in silence, watching the sun go down. We were sure that it would settle in a hollow on the ground. But then, to our complete surprise, it disappeared from sight, and the violet of the evening turned into dark of night. The hills they changed from green to grey, the sky from blue to black. As our scarlet sun slid out of sight, there was no turning back. My dad, he looked down at me and said, "Don't worry, son. We'll walk and find the very spot and find where the sun has gone." We slept there on that hillside, curled up, all warm and dry, and when we woke up in the morning the sun was already in the sky. We sprinted down the hillside, jumped rocks and splashed through streams, while all that time that golden globe, it warmed us with its beams. We fought our way through forests, past towns we didn't know, still hoping that same evening we'd see where the sun would go. We were sure this time we'd see it, for we travelled all day long. But when the sun had set that evening, we knew that we were wrong. Disappointed, we sat down to eat on top of some lonesome ground. Then we made ourselves a promise: tomorrow we'll see where the sun goes down. When we woke up in the morning, we ran fast and vaulted walls, determined by the evening time to find where the sun would fall. At last we reached the ocean. There was nowhere left to go. Here we'd see the resting place of that glorious golden globe. Sitting there upon the cliff top, the sun started to its bed, painted everything in sight with shades of yellow, orange, and red. What if the sea opens its mouth, Dad, and swallows our beautiful light? Then we'll be left in darkness and the coldness of the night. Dad put his arm around me and said, "Son, now we will see if that golden globe of sunlight will be swallowed by the sea." With a thinner spark of light left, the sun vanished from our sight, and although we could not see it, we were mesmerized by its light. Amidst a spiraling wash of colours, the sun left us there to think, and with one final thought upon its brow, it turned the sky from red to pink. We both sat there in silence. I had a teardrop in my eye, for with that final blaze of glory, our ball of life had sunk and died. When the sea absorbed the final hues, night donned its velvet cloak of black. It was time for us to head for home and to bring our memories back. The memory of its glorious death will always stay with me. Why had we chased the sunset and forced it out to sea? We'll stop and tell everyone we meet of the wondrous colours we have seen, then tell them how the sun had died swallowed by the darkest sea of green. Slowly then we turned away to start the long walk home. We told everyone we'd met that night of the death of our golden globe. People stood and stared at us, shocked by the news we had to say. How could that blazing ball of light just die and fade away? We didn't want to sleep that night, but keep its image in our heads. So hand in hand we walked along and not a word was said. I thought I'd walked 100 miles, my feet ached, and my eyelids too. And then I raised my weary head and the sky turned from black to blue. I gripped my father's hand so tight as so not to let it go. I looked at him, he read my mind and said, "Son, I do not know." We stood there still as statues, a million questions in our heads, as the dark blue of the night was painted with the lightest shade of red. Then to our complete delight, the sun rose from its deathbed. The warmth and beauty of its heat kissed us lightly on the head. The red it soon turned deeper, then from crimson turned to gold. The glory of that sunrise was truly magical to behold. We danced and sang and jumped about. The sun was in the sky. It had not been swallowed by the sea. It had not sunk and died. We played there in that meadow while the sun rose to its height, knowing that later on that day, the day will turn to night. And after every deepest, darkest night, there'll be a brand new day, and that blazing globe of glorious light will chase the dark away. So just remember, in your darkest hour, there will be light beyond the bend. So follow that faintest glow of light, for you never know where it may end. The end. I hope you've enjoyed it. That's all the teddy bears and the story being told. Each teddy bear is there's got an animal each. So on every page there are animals for you to find. So if your teacher's got a book, perhaps you can have a look and see whether you can find them all. Well, that was the Sunset Chasers. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed reading the book to you. And let me know. And perhaps one day you'd like me to read another one to you. But until then, take care. Look after each other. Bye bye.